Well, hello everybody. This is Dr. Troy Digwitz of the Commit and Go podcast, where we encourage you to make big commitments, take big action, and create big-ass results in your life and business. Today's topic is this. We got to get going. We're going to be late. So just recently here, Labor Day weekend, we're at the Lake of the Ozarks, and there's 3 days of just dreary cold weather. And the frustrating part of that for me, being a boater, is because my family doesn't really want to go out on the boat when it's a little chilly, and I can't say that I blame them. In fact, we're not going to be going to drop the anchor anywhere and hop in the water. Now, boaters love to boat. It's true, we love to boat. But in this particular case, with a 1-year-old who's going to get a little squirrely, it's smarter for us to just be able to go do some other things, which is totally cool. It gives us a chance to connect with our kids. But on the fourth day, this past Labor Day weekend, 2019, it was sunny. It was sunny, folks. It was an opportunity for us to go out on the boat. Now, my son and I had been on the jet ski 3 times. We didn't care if it was cold out or not. We actually wore sweatshirts one day on the jet ski to go out. We just wanted to be on the water. But now is a chance for the whole family to go. And the problem is that this is on Labor Day. And what we know has to happen on Labor Day is we need to leave. Now, the original quote-unquote plan that my wife and I came up with is that we would leave at around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It gives us a chance to go out on the boat, play a little bit, come back, pack the car, and leave. Well, what would happen is that we would go ahead and head on the boat at about 12 o'clock, go driving around the lake, looking at some houses and boats and just kind of having a nice little ride around the lake. And then we would finally end up at a place called Frankie and Louie's, which I have talked about before on this podcast. And when we parked the boat, we got off the boat, walked across the dock, all the way over to the sandy beach, dropped our stuff off, and hopped in the water. We hopped in the water where we would play for a couple hours. Now, we would find out that it was about 10 till 2 when we finally settled in and ordered our lunch. So the plan was we'll leave at 3 o'clock. Well, as you know, when kids are playing on a beach, it's a little hard to pull them away. Hell, who am I kidding? Me playing on a beach, it's really hard to pull me away, especially when I'm playing with my kids. So we're playing, wife's playing, kids are playing. We're all having a great time together, but we know that we have to leave. So we start the process of corralling everybody up at about 10 after 3, and we finally hit the boat at about 3:45. Now, at this point, we're already past time. And as I'm hearing from my wife, we're going to be late. If we don't get going, it's going to be a late night. We've got to get the kids home to bed. Now, my wife is not a villain here. My wife is the voice of reason, because she's right. If we don't get the kids to bed at a reasonable time, the next day, Tuesday, is going to be tough getting them out of bed. So what do we want to do? We want to make sure that we can get them to bed at a reasonable time so that the next day becomes, as easy as could be with 3 kids. So she keeps kind of, voicing this like, it's going to be late, we need to get going, And we take this boat ride back, and we have to go pump out our boat. It's basically like clean your shitter. We got to clean the shitter. We had to go to 2 places, and then we weren't able to get it done. So then we finally decided to park the boat. Well, now it's 5 o'clock. And what do we hear? Man, we're going to get home really late. Now, one of the things the boys wanted to do before we left the lake was go to a place called Andy's. Andy's for ice cream. And why wouldn't you want to go to Andy's on the last day of summer? So we let them know, look, you guys help us. We get done at a reasonable time. We'll head to Andy's. Well, the problem would be this. Things just started taking longer. It took longer to close the boat down. It took longer to get the car packed. Everything took a little bit longer to the point to where we didn't leave until finally 7 o'clock. At that point in time, my wife looks at me and she's like, I don't care what you want to do. Just make a decision. Well, that's easy for me. Come in and go, baby. We're going for ice cream. So we head over for ice cream, and then one of the boys has to go poop. Well, what do you do when you got to go poop? You let him go poop because you don't want to be driving when a kid's got to go poop. We pull into the gas station. That would be another 15-minute stop. We literally are on the road at 8 o'clock heading home. The problem with that is it is a 3-hour drive. We're not getting home till 11. But here's the beauty of it. The beauty is this. We had an amazing time together. We had a wonderful last day of summer. What the kids are going to remember is not that they were on time. We got home on time. We were at school on time the next day after Labor Day 2019. What they'll remember is playing in the water together and climbing on daddy and climbing on mommy and the laughs and the giggles and the lunch. And they'll remember the ice cream and getting out of the car and sitting on the concrete blocks there by the sign and just eating ice cream and ice cream dripping down their bodies and on their legs and on their shirts. They'll remember those things. They'll remember the fun of even cleaning the car. And we went to the gas station and cleaned the car. They'll remember those things. They're not going to remember if we were on time or off time. They're not going to remember that. They're not even focused on that. We focus on that. And as responsible parents, yes, we have to. But there also comes a time in life when we kind of have to take the schedule and throw it out the window. Now, for some of you, you know me. You're like, holy shit, did he just say that? I'm going to rewind and I have to hear it again. Yes, sometimes you need to take the schedule and throw it out the window. Because what's more important in this moment is the connection to your children. What's more important is the connection to my wife. What's more important is the experience that we created on that day. Like, we had a wonderful weekend together. And it was solidified by this final day on the lake. We won't go back now for another month, but it was solidified by this final day on the lake where we didn't worry about the schedule. I mean, as much as she was bringing it up, like, she wasn't pushing as hard as she could have. Why? Because she's really good at it too. Like, let's just be with our kids. Let's just enjoy our kids. Are you going to regret that they got home late that night? Or are you going to regret that you didn't take time to spend with them? I mean, that becomes the question, doesn't it? When you look at life in general, you're going to regret that you weren't on schedule and got them to bed on time? Or are you going to regret that you didn't spend time with them when you had the chance? And so many times in life, we get so rigid on a schedule. And again, I'm a scheduler, and I follow my schedule. But when it comes time that you can spend extra time with your children, extra time with a spouse, extra time with a significant other, like whoever it is in your life, you got to grab those moments, folks. You have to grab, because nobody ever later on in life says that they regret spending too much time with loved ones. What they end up saying is they wish they would have spent more time. They would have paid more attention. I hear this all the time from grandparents who say, like, yeah, I feel like with my grandkids, I have this chance to redeem myself, and I can spend the time with them that I didn't get to spend with my own children. I've heard this time and time again. And the reality is this, is that you have an opportunity. You listening right now have an opportunity. When you look at your life and you have things that are scheduled and they have to get done, and I know that I have so many projects that are going on right now, but guess what? I get up earlier. I stay up later to get those things done, because I don't want it to take away from the time that I can have with my kids, the time that I can have with my wife. So I'm willing to put in the extra work on off hours so that I can invest in them while I'm investing in me, while I'm investing in our lives by working on business type shit. So it's a matter of you taking a look at your life and saying, like, where do I keep getting tied to a schedule that once in a while I need to just throw caution in the wind? And this isn't, because I hear people brag about it all the time. Like, I go on Facebook and people are like, oh, I'm working on Friday night. What are you doing? Ha ha. And then it's like their badge of honor, right? And it's like, oh, I worked through the whole weekend instead of, it's like basically they're saying, so I ignored my family this weekend and I did all this work because there's a greater vision that I'm working on and you should bow down to me. And when I see people do that, I'm like, honestly, it's like, fuck you. I don't care. I don't care that you did that this weekend, because here's what I did. I invested in me. I invested in my family. And when I do that, it gives me power. It gives me creativity. It gives me focus, so that when I do sit down and work, I am still going to get a lot of work done. Just because you decided to sacrifice a relationship this weekend for the quote unquote greater good, it doesn't do me any good. And when people say that, it's like this badge of honor, like, look at me and how hard I work. And they're just wanting people to follow them. They're just wanting people to like look up to them when they're saying that. You don't need to say that. You know what? Show me, don't tell me. So when you look at your life and you look at your relationships and the people around you, show them, don't tell them. Invest in your relationship. You don't have to, like, if you want to break schedule and go have fun with your family, do it and go create an experience. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel guilty about it. Like my wife, I saw the layer come off. Like, she was just trying to keep us on track. But once she realized it wasn't going to happen, she's just like, all right, whatever. We'll just get him home and get him to bed. Like, that's it. And focus on the moment. So you don't have to sacrifice. And that's what people want you to believe. And you can throw caution to the wind once in a while. And you can throw a schedule out the window once in a while. It's okay. Don't let somebody tell you different. Because the hustle that I put into my relationships gives me energy to create elsewhere that day, and not focusing on a schedule and just focusing on family time. Created energy for me as I woke up this morning. It created energy for me as I got to work today. It created energy for me doing this podcast right now. So I want you to look at your life. Look at your life right now. And where in your life do you know, and chances are it's in a relationship, where in your life do you know in a relationship that you need to just disengage? There's somewhere in that relationship where it's like, you know what? I'm going to allow myself to go off track on my schedule this week, Friday. I'm going to allow myself today to just get off track on my schedule. I'm done working, and I'm going to go invest in my family tonight. Like, where is it that you just need to take a breath? Shake it out. And just take your schedule and, you know what? I'm going to get to this tomorrow. And I know you're going like, holy shit, Troy, you're talking about commit and go and get shit done. And I can't believe you're telling me to do this right now. Yeah, you know why? because I know the energy, the power, the focus that this gives me when I do it. And I think it'll do the same for you. And sometimes all people need is someone to give them permission. I am giving you permission right now. This is not an all the time. Like, look, my schedule, I get my shit done Monday through Thursday. I work hard to get it done Monday through Thursday so that when my kids get home at night, I can be focused with them. So that when the weekend rolls along, I can be focused with them. Like, I work really, really hard to get those things done, but not in sacrifice of my family when they're home, which is why I said to you, I'll do them late at night. I'll do it in the morning before they get up. I do those things in my schedule so that it doesn't have to affect my focus time with family. That's all by schedule. And then there's things like this that might happen on a weekend or on a weeknight. And instead of abiding by a schedule, you go, screw that. We're just going to focus and have a good time. So maybe that's the phrase I want you to be listening to or thinking about this week. Where in your life throughout the course of the rest of this week do you need to say, screw that, I'm focusing on connection, and go focus on connection with the people that you love. That's all I've got for you here today, folks. Hey, I ran a little bit longer than I normally do. I went on a big time rant, but man, I just want you to focus on family and fun and love and taking that energy into your business and exploding in all areas of your life, because I know you absolutely can. That's all I've got for you here today. I'm Dr. Troy Dukowitz. This has been the Commit and Go podcast, where we encourage you to make big commitments, take big action, and create big ass results in your life and business. We'll hear you next time. Bye-bye.